Thanks.
So tell me about this new law. Exactly what is it?
So basically the General Data Protection Regulation is a new piece of legislation coming into effect on the 25th of May, requiring businesses that do control personal data of EU citizens, extending the existing law, you know, and the obligations that's placed on businesses there, and also some new regulation that comes into effect. So there are several obligations in there, everything from businesses needing to take accountability for ensuring that they comply with the law and putting in the necessary measures. Also having fairness and transparency within these obligations and how they treat and handle the personal data of these citizens.
For sure.
But also a couple of other obligations and certain measures that they need to put in place when the law comes into effect.
Sure. So ultimately, all these obligations is about what? Protecting personal data. That's
correct. Protecting personal data. So anything from call centers that are taking information from individuals to bond originators that might get your information to process a bond, to businesses taking just your information on a website so that you can download a file or view certain information.
So is this law as a result of what we've seen happen with big companies like Facebook recently, where consumer data has been used for, you know, the wrong purposes, or has it been in the pipeline for longer?
Oh no, it's been in the pipeline for much longer than the Facebook scandal, if you can call it that. I guess it's Facebook scandal has just highlighted the issues for us. But no, large organizations have been preparing for this for a couple of years, although it's caught some of the, I guess, smaller individuals and businesses off guard a little bit.
Except you said large organizations preparing this for years, but you say that many organizations are actually not ready to be compliant on May 25th when it kicks in. Why the lack of readiness?
I guess just a lack of understanding the implications and the far reach of it. Maybe businesses in Africa and South Africa don't understand that even though they are operating from Africa or from South Africa, this regulation can have an effect on them as well. And the fines, by the way, are considerable, 20 million euros, or translates into 300 million rand, or even 4% of your annual turnover. So yes, I think it's just come to the forefront in media in the last couple of months and weeks, and that's probably why some of them have been caught off guard.
No, for sure. And I see that you say also a potential cost could be a complete exclusion from doing business in the EU if one is not compliant.
That's correct, yes. That could be one of the findings that the regulators in the EU could find, and you'd be excluded of doing business there.
So now you're watching this as a business person who does some business in the EU. You're asking yourself, okay, what do I do? How do I get compliant? Where do I go?
Sure. So there's lots of information on the internet. There's also, I can give you a little bit of a rundown of the measures that you need to put in place. They can be categorized as organizational measures and technical measures. So on the technical side is much to do with the IT systems, and that are, you know, systems like platform systems that are already taken care of. A lot of these things like Salesforce, you know, those things are categorizing the information that is being stored, having it available for and packaged in a way that if an individual wants to take ownership of that information, to do it, also to delete it automatically after a certain period. Those are kind of the technical measures, and then you've got the organizational measures. So putting in place some kind of framework or governance structure within a business. You get applications that can assist you with that also. And those are similar to the cybersecurity systems that needs to be put in place, like information security management systems, etc. But the measures there are to make an inventory of where you are storing personal data, how you're storing it, categorizing it, putting a kind of risk rating on them, And then assessing, you know, the organization based on the policies that you put in place to see where the gaps are, and then place action plans into effect and assign to people to, you know, take care of that.
This is sounding rather costly, though.
For large organizations with handling a lot of this data and in various systems, that this can become really complicated. For the smaller ones, handling you know, single systems, and it's not that complicated. You know, like I said before, there are applications that can assist you with it. Like I said, Salesforce already have been preparing for this for years, and they have functionality within the system that already takes care of it. And then on the organizational side, you know, you get these risk management systems like Riskonnect, which we do implement and support at Thryve, that can assist you with setting up the governance framework, the assessment process, the action plans, etc., that can assist you.
I mean, we've had quite a number of laws, you know, trying to police consumer data there. How effective is this one going to be? I mean, are we going to see a complete end or a near end to these incidences of cyber security, hacking, and personal data breaches that we've seen recently in the past 2 years or so?
I don't think it will probably end. You know, it's always that good versus evil kind of thing. So, you know, on the good side, you've got technology advances, etc., you know, making lives better. And on the other side, you've got the, you know, people trying to exploit that. You'll always have that. And we just have to keep fighting the fight.